I am almost addicted to getting press, and I started actively doing this about 6 or 7 years ago on my own before it really became a thing. And it's a lot easier than people think. It does take some work behind the scenes, but I get very giddy and excited about this because if I can do this, you can do this. There is no, there's no secret in or somebody that you have to contact or you have to pay X, Y, and Z. You should never have to pay for media coverage, and that's something big we're going to talk about today too. So it is 1:01 p.m. Let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to start with this. So thank you so much for attending my Etsy U Success in the Press, how to get press and media coverage for your Etsy business today. Whether you run an Etsy business or you are a maker, you have your own independent website, maybe you're an expert and looking to go on shows such as Good Morning America, the Today Show, speaking as a parenting expert or a sleep coach. These are all going to be great ways for you to start getting press, and I'm going to be teaching you how to find members of the media to actually pitch to. Yes, they are accessible. They are at your hands. You should never have to pay for press, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Whether you're just getting started or you have been a pro at getting press over the last few years, you're going to find some juicy details today. All right, so a little bit about me. My name is Nicole Lewis. I am the founder and creator behind Art to the Extreme. I specialize in customized and personalized crayon design for your gifting needs. My specialties are specifically in the areas of PR, media relations, branding, getting press for your shop, that kind of stuff. I did not go to school for any of this. My degree is in art education, but in my long history as a maker, I have had much success in getting press and recognition for my brand. And the most surprising thing that I have learned while doing all that, while it's time consuming, it's a lot easier than people think. There's no special gatekeeper. There's not a fee that you should be paying to get press and get in media. It's all in relationship building and taking the time to research and tell your story. I'm really, really passionate about this topic, and I have additional trainings on my YouTube channel in the coming months. We're going to go a little bit more into depth on a training on June 7th about actually writing your pitch. And we'll dive into that a little bit further at the end of this presentation too. But I truly believe if I can do it, you can be doing it no matter what items that you make. I'm going to scroll down on my chat so I can make sure it's coming up. Perfect. So Christopher asks, is this mostly about the USA market? The things I'm going to be teaching you today can be applied even if you're not in the United States. I'm going to give you some ways that you can actually find people in your country, your area, to kind of do your research behind the scenes and how to contact them. So while I am located in the United States, and I do a lot of United States publications, these tools and tactics are going to be extremely helpful for anybody, not just those in the United States. Perfect. A little bit about me. I've had my Etsy shop for about almost 15 years. I am an Etsy OG. I've been around since they've been around, so a kind of unique perspective. I've seen every single change that Etsy has had in their existence. So it kind of gives me a unique perspective of how to approach things. I'm a former elementary art teacher of 10 years. I taught art and art at 2 schools. I was able to quit my day job in 2014 when my first son was born. I kind of made that leap. And that's also the year that I really started looking to get press because I knew I had to start making that money to be able to support my family and not have me totally freak out from leaving a steady, well-paying teaching job. I have made over $1 million in revenue on Etsy over the past 15 years or so. And I do have a website on top of this that I actually just started this year. I am an Etsy Design Award finalist in 2020. I placed in the top 10 of the best kids gifts out of, I think it was at the time, 4.3 million Etsy shops. So I was top 10 of all kids gifts. And so that was a really big honor. I've had features in over 200 major publications, gift guides, magazines, TV, you name it. I've tried to do it, or I've done it at least. So that's kind of why Etsy brought me in to talk about how I can do this, because if I can do this, you can do this. Okay, so what is PR? So type in the comments, what do you think of when I mention PR? I'm going to see if, there we go. Yeah, type in the comments below, when I mention PR or getting press, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? It doesn't have to be a definition or anything. What is just the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear about PR or press? And while I'm waiting for some answers to come in, because there is a little bit of a lag, as far as PR, image is an important aspect of brand awareness, which influences whether your potential customers know, like, or trust you. And that's huge. Where publicity is outside of a brand's control, public relations or PR is an effective way to contribute to the conversation. Public relations or PR refers to managing how others see and feel about a person, a brand, or a company. But PR is different from advertising or marketing. It's often meant to look and feel organic. So the goal is to present the person or the company or the brand in the best light possible. All right, so people are saying public relations, marketing, press release. You're going to hear a lot of outside people continue to talk about press release. And what I'm teaching you today is going to kind of be away from press release, because from my experience, a general press release isn't the best approach, and I'm going to explain why further in the presentation. So press release, how the public views my shopper brand, how I shape that view. That's a really great point, how you shape that view. Getting the word out about your product, perfect. Why do I need press for my business? So every business benefits from positive press and media coverage. Press gets your business in the public eye, and that has the potential to drive sales. I say potential because in the end, it's up to you to leverage that press once you get it. And we will be talking about how you can leverage that press across different social media channels and other areas of your business to continue that buyer trust and keep people coming in. But press equals credibility and brand awareness. This in turn generates additional web traffic, social media followers, and drives sales ultimately. So why do I need press for my business? Brand awareness, buyer confidence or trust, differentiation from the competition, and then content. Content equals SEO equals sales. With the brand awareness, you want to familiarize the public with your business or your product or differentiate it from the competition. You want press for buyer confidence. Brand confidence is knowing what your brand has to offer and how you want to appeal to the clients or prospects, and having a strong foundation to deliver a solution. A strong brand conveys confidence and competitiveness. With buyer trust, establishing trust is one of the most important aspects of the sales process. Without trust and buyer confidence, you won't have a sale. Getting earned press shows a buyer that you are an established business that can be trusted, enough so that well-known sources and publications, whether that be local or national, trust you or your product, and it's noteworthy. You want press for your business for differentiation from the competition. Press differentiates you from the competition. If two brands are creating the same product, earned press is going to help the buyer with decision fatigue and point buyers in your direction. And I use the word earned press. Paid press is not earned press. You want earned press. You should never ever be paying for press. And then content. Press gives you content. Content and backlinks help with SEO, and better SEO and links out there in Google Land lead to more sales ultimately. Press gives you content that you can use on your social media. I'm going to show you different ways to use press or the earned publicity that you get, different ways on social media to help. So overall, press equals brand awareness and credibility. Press leads to more press. So today for the success in the press, try saying that 3 times fast. We're going to be going over relationship building. This includes how to know which journalists to contact, how to find media contacts looking for you, and best practices relationship building using your social media. We're going to go over pitching. Toss out the general press release. I'm going to be teaching you how to use your elevator pitch to personally connect with actual editors, bloggers, and publications, when and what you should be pitching, and I'll also let you know the secret sauce to pitching from my experience. And then third, we're going to be going over content. Sharing, sharing, sharing. You landed press on TV, or a share featured your product, or you sent out samples to X, Y, and Z. Now what do? We're going to be teaching you how to leverage the publicity over and over again to keep buyers interested in your product, your story, and you. How does this apply to your social media strategy? We will also be going over that. All right, so the first part of this is where everything starts, is relationship building. So relationships are key to connecting with actual members of the press, the brands you love and you want to collaborate with, and the influencers you have on your bucket list to work with. Over here off to the side, these are just some of the bigger brands that I've collaborated with, all from me reaching out to them. And these are some of the actual products that I've done collaborations with, whether they're small businesses, they're big companies. I've been able to work with the Ellen DeGeneres Show, the Oprah Winfrey Network, Sephora, Microsoft, for a bunch of different opportunities. And we're going to be talking also about how you can also collaborate with different brands. With relationship building tips, these are the main things that you need to think about. First, do your homework. Make sure that you consume the publications that you want to be in and be knowledgeable about them. Actually read. If you want to be on Good Morning America, make sure that you're watching Good Morning America. Make sure you know which segment or which hour you actually belong in if you're going to pitch for that. If you want to get in, I want to say Parents Magazine because that was a dream of mine, but Parents Magazine has since folded over the last couple months or so, but you can still go on parents.com. Do you want to be a parenting expert and give different tips about the top baby foods to feed your child? You can do this, but you have to consume the media that you want to be in. If you want to get on GMA the second hour, make sure you know what topics they cover. Get to know the reporter, the influencer, the publication you are targeting. I personally start with Instagram. I follow the person I am hoping to connect with and interact with their posts. And I add this person to my LinkedIn as well. If you are a maker, if you're a business owner, you should definitely have a LinkedIn. Whereas social media like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and TikTok, they're more visual, they're more quick with images and trends. LinkedIn is more of the professional side of things. This is where you're going to be able to kind of deep dive and get to the right contacts. You look up one editor, you open up a magazine, see who wrote that article, or open up your email, find an article by Forbes, see who wrote it, click on their name. You're going to be able to find them in LinkedIn, and then it's going to connect you to a bunch of different people that work in that publication. Click on one of those editors' posts on LinkedIn. You're going to see other editors and people in the industry commenting on their post. Click on them. It's going to feed you to different people that work within that publication or that news channel or that station. LinkedIn is a great way to kind of branch out and deep dive into those different connections. So connecting on social media. Before I spend a ton of time and energy with this, I do make sure that the person I am connecting with actually runs their own account. I follow the person I'm hoping to connect with, and I interact with their posts. Whatever platform you decide to use, be consistent. If you like Instagram, if Instagram's your jam and you like reaching out through direct message through Instagram, do that, but be consistent. For me, it's Instagram because my work is so visual and I show my face on video to connect with my followers because people buy from people. One thing, a lot of people will think, well, how do I know if they run their account? To me, it seems pretty obvious if somebody's running their own account. Are they constantly posting pictures of their family? Are they talking on their stories? Take your favorite person that you want to connect with, whether it's an author, whether it's an editor, whether it's a celebrity, and watch them for like a week. See, what are they posting about? Are they posting pictures of their kids and family life? Are they constantly posting ads and sponsored? If they're constantly posting ads and sponsored posts, they're probably not going to be my jam because I personally don't pay for any sponsored posts. but watch them for a little bit. Do the research and do your homework. You want to make sure that you're providing value. You want to share the articles that they write. If it's an editor, share something that you really liked and tag them in that post or tag them in that story. I really enjoyed X, Y, and Z article by editor so-and-so. Thanks so much for sharing your insight. They notice that. That story, if you tag them, that pops up in their story requests and they can see that in the future. They love that. And what do you like about it? Be genuine. They can see right through you if you're not being truthful. Mimic what you see on social media. If the person that you're researching, if they're talking about families and babies, but not so much about their work or writing on Instagram, then that's what you should chat with them and comment about on that platform. If they're sharing their articles or political opinions and things on Twitter, retweet there and retweet them. Follow their vibe and kind of match it to kind of get that in and start getting to know them and them getting to know you and be familiar with you. I love using LinkedIn for finding direct contact emails to pitch officially later down the line. And I kind of use it as a back door to discover other coworkers and friends of theirs using those suggested contacts. And that's kind of off to the right side on LinkedIn. You see a bunch of suggested contacts. You don't want to nag and be respectful of their space. I use a mix of commenting on their posts, their Instagram stories, and direct DMs. Some people do not mind being pitched via direct DM, but I do my research and I really feel them out on this only after I've established a bit of a relationship and presence on their posts. You can also always ask them, hey, I have a great topic for an article that I think you might be interested in. What is the best way to connect to you with my idea? You can just flat out ask them. They might say, please send me an email, or I prefer not to be DM'd on Instagram. Make it easy for them to learn about you with one click. Oftentimes when people follow Art to the Extreme or are constantly interacting with my posts, I do click on their profile. I think about the following. Can you quickly find a picture, video's better, of yourself? Is it easy to determine what your business, product, service idea is? If you're a person branding yourself, does your message and core values come through? Where does your link in your bio go? We'll get back to some of this at the end, but on social media, I should be able to look at your profile in 2 seconds and be able to tell what you make or what you do, see a picture of you, and if there's any video. Video is going to be king. Lastly, be patient. Relationship building is a slow burn, but it is a part of the process. So, where can I find contact information and learn more about writers, members of the press, influencers, etc.? I personally start with Facebook or Instagram. Instagram for me, because that's where I vibe. LinkedIn is amazing. It's for finding their direct contact or email to officially pitch them later down the line. And I use it as a backdoor to discover other coworkers and friends of theirs using their suggested contacts to the right. Their own.com. Many have a bio page, a contact me form, or email directly listed. Most writers have their own .coms. Most writers now are freelancing or going between publications because so many magazines are folding, which means they're closing their doors and they're going to online only. So a lot of writers are jumping from one platform for the other or writing for multiple magazines or platforms all at once. Previous articles and publications. Usually there's a link that their last 5 to 10 articles are on that they've written. So if you go to, I use this example here from Jessica Abo. She writes for Entrepreneur, and she's someone that I have contacted in the past and have a relationship with. And when you click on Entrepreneur and you click on her name, it will show her latest posts. So these, at the time I took the screenshot, these were some of the last posts that she did. It gives you kind of a quick summary of what types of comments or what types of content they write about. Are they purely gift guides? Are they writing about the 10 cutest Etsy gifts for kids? Are they writing about my life as a parent day to day? Are they writing about here are the best 5 colors for the summer parties? You'll be able to kind of see what their targeted articles are about. Are they home improvement? Are they writing about finances? Are they writing about being an entrepreneur or a business person? you'll be able to kind of check their vibe there and see what they are actually writing about. And that way it's great to see if your pitch idea or your story or your product is a good fit for their audience, and if they're the correct contact to actually be pitching for what you're looking to connect to them for. And this is kind of new. This is called a Substack. So many now are using Substack, which is a paid newsletter. While oftentimes there are free components or parts to the newsletter when subscribing, they will often share what they are looking for or who the experts they are looking to quote or interview that they need for their upcoming articles. A lot of times these are very quick turnarounds too. So if you are someone that's getting their email Substacks and they say, I need a quick expert to talk to me about the benefits of washing your face at night. And sometimes turnarounds are the next day and you're one of the first ones to get to them, that you're in the door. Sometimes portions of this are pay only. With so many print publications ending and moving to digital only formats or folding entirely, writers are looking for ways to creatively earn income as well. In today's presentation, you're also going to be hearing me talk about affiliate and affiliate links. And Substacks is also a way that writers can make some income for the articles that they write. And if you are someone that's signed up or signing up at the end for any of the workshop materials, I'm going to have a list of Substacks for you to follow. I do not pay for any of the Substacks currently, but most of the Substacks come with all the opportunities for press that they're looking for. And I've never had to pay to see those, which is great. All right, pitching. All right, so type in the comments what publication, what news channel, what media source is your dream to land. So start writing in the comments what you are interested. Are you interested in getting local press? Are you interested in getting the big ones on today's show, Good Morning America? What are the publications or the media outlets that you want to be in the most? What's your big goal? And while you're doing that, we'll be talking about pitching. So you've started building relationships. Now it's time to start perfecting your pitch. A media pitch is an email attempting to get a journalist or an editor or media outlet interested in your story or brand or service or your product. So that way they decide to cover it. You are trying to arouse interest in your story and ask if they would write about it or include your expertise or product in a future topic that they're covering. Pitching is the next layer of relationship building. It too takes time, patience, and following up multiple times. I will repeat that again. Following up multiple times. It is a slow burn and it's well worth it. Writing an effective media pitch that gets a journalist to respond is not too difficult, but there is a catch. Journalists receive hundreds of pitches a day and therefore only look at those that are relevant, newsworthy, brief, structured, and timely. All right, so I don't see anybody in the comments. Right, what's your big dream? What do you want to land? What publication do you love? What do you see and you wake up and you look at and you're like, oh, I really want my jewelry in this magazine. I really want my facial products reviewed by this beauty editor, this beauty magazine. What are you most interested in? All right, so the structure of a pitch. All right, the lead. So the lead is your hook. The lead is, why is your story newsworthy? Your pitch needs to have a call to action. A call to action, this is what you want the writer to do. Mention your company in an industry story, or maybe you want them to include your product in a gift guide. Maybe you want the writer to conduct an interview with you. It's important that you make your intention as clear as possible, but short. Thank you, Trish. Oprah Magazine, yes. And Oprah Magazine was one of the ones that actually stopped publication, but she does still have a very strong online presence, and they also do their favorite things in the O list every month and stuff too. That's a great one though. And if you want any dish on Oprah, I have been on the table for Oprah's favorite things 4 times and I keep getting cut. But I have, for those wanting to land on Oprah's favorite things, I have some special tips for you later too. Okay, so keep it as clear as possible and short. Define your value proposition. This is your why. Why should the member of your press be interested in your story? This should differentiate yourself from the hundreds of other pitches this writer receives daily. What makes you special? You are special. You have a story and needs to shine here. Conclude. End your email with a thank you and recap of your call to action. If you have a product, include a Google Drive link. We'll talk about Google Drive links, but you want to include a Google Drive link to a folder that has high quality photos, a bio, and a headshot that are all press ready. Offer a sample to send. You also want to make sure that your contact information is below your name as well. When you're doing this, you want to make sure that you keep your pitch short. If you want the chance of them making it through the pitch, short and to the point is best. Save any deep details for a link to your About page. If they truly want more information without asking you, they'll click it. This is extremely valuable if you're wanting to go on camera or have a feature about you versus a product as well. Decide to pitch your angle of that topic. So for example, I recently landed press. I got quoted and interviewed on NPR. I was in Entrepreneur and Fox News, all about the Etsy strike that was going on. While everybody was talking about the Etsy strike, I positioned myself as I actually welcome the change, and here is why. You want to be able to piggyback on a topic and give your expert opinion about whatever they're covering to, maybe something crazy happened on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, and you specialize in something that had to do with. Maybe they were wearing cool, trendy earrings, and that's the new thing that was at, I can't even pull these examples out of my head, the Met Gala with the crazy costumes. Maybe you're a costume designer. Maybe you make fabulous earrings. You can talk about those things and piggyback off of real world events that's happening as kind of an angle to pitch and give them options to choose from. Oh no, I'm freezing. Okay, I'm so sorry. Very patchy. Ugh. Let's see if it... Thank you so much for commenting, so I know that. All right. If you're in the comments over the next couple minutes, if you can give me a thumbs up if it's working again for you. I apologize. I will go back and repeat some of what I just said as well. We were talking about personalizing your pitch. So democles by the journalist. It seems okay for you now. Okay, good. Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry. And if that happens again, just let me know and I will stop and I will let it catch up. Thank you. Thank you. But you want to personalize it. They are actual people and they're taking their time out of the day to read your pitch. So make sure you're personalizing it for them, that you're pitching something that clearly aligns. Thank you. That's super helpful. That clearly aligns with what they're actually writing about. If they're asking for experts to quote on the best places in Florida to travel, and you're like, oh, I'm from Indianapolis, I'm talking about the 500. You want to make sure what you're pitching aligns with what they're looking for. Oops, there we go. All right, so here are some real samples from emails that I have sent and actual press that I've landed from the emails. So this is a sample from an old pitch of mine from 2020. This pitch landed me press in Real Simple and Rachel Ray magazines for their in-print issues, as well as digital gift guides. So not only did I get in 2 in-print publications for their big holiday gift guide, but I was also digital. You have to think about, when you're pitching in mind, keep in mind your goal. Are you looking for credibility in building brand trust, like having print, having a physical magazine? Yay, I was in a physical magazine, look at my stuff. The downside to being in a physical magazine is, are people really tearing out that article and going and typing www.yourwebsite.com to find that item? Most likely not. My first press that I ever got were different articles. I think my first big one that I landed, I think, was Us Magazine and People Magazine. And with those, I've been in Food Network magazine twice for their holiday gift guides too. That is just fun to have a real life magazine in your hands. It gives you something that you can hold, you can share on social media, you can tag, you can take a picture of the actual feature and post it. That really helps for credibility and brand trust. Print magazines are a great way to get press that you can hold in your hands and share. Are you going to get tons of sales from it? Not necessarily, unless it's actually online as well. Most of the time it crosses over online nowadays because editors and magazines are looking to get money paid from affiliate links, which we will get into that a little bit too. So this is an actual pitch I sent. This is the pitch that got a response. And eventually I had this whole highlighted section for the Teens and Tweens gift guide for holiday Rachel Ray in season. A lot of print magazines are going to 4 times a year. Rachel Ray is one of those. I know 2 or 3 others that are moving to 4 times a year. So this says, hi, my name is Nicole Lewis. I'm the crayon artisan behind the original rainbow crayon at Art to the Extreme Studios. So it says what I do, my business name, where I'm located. I've heard about your call from food-related items from, and this happened to be a connection that I had that told me about this, so I referenced that. And I would love for you to consider our Crayon-sicle original rainbow crayons and mini donut original rainbow crayons. These unique popsicles are donut-shaped crayons, perfect for the foodie in your life or the little one who loves the color. They also make a wonderful party favor or stocking stuffer. Then I go in talking about how much they cost, how they're packaged, and free shipping. As the first shop on Etsy ever to sell a handmade crayon over 12 years ago, we create over, and I could have even shortened this a little bit. So this is a very old pitch. All age ranges and interests. You can learn more about this here, and I give my website or on our Instagram page because I kind of want them to go to Instagram to see all of the other colorful photos. I would love to send a sample to you if there's interest. Thank you so much for your time and consideration. Now, normally you have to follow up, and we're going to be talking about following up too, but this actual email got forwarded to somebody else. They put it in a file for a couple weeks, and then they came back to it and immediately said, yes, can you send us the donut crayons? We would like to use you in and this is back in June. You guys, right now, anything for holiday in print is happening right now. The end of May, June, and July are the months to pitch for in-print magazine holiday gift guides. Many people don't realize that magazines work 6 or 7 months ahead of time. I just pitched the same magazine again for a different product. Their pitches closed 2 weeks ago for Christmas and holiday. Now, that doesn't mean you're out of luck because a lot of magazines are moving to online, and online gift guides will be posted opportunities anywhere between July and October. Okay, making sure that comments. Thank you. So this pitch is what led to this feature right here. She said, I make a ton of holiday ornaments. That's my biggest thing. I better get working. Yes. So holiday stuff. I know it's so far in advance. And if you attended my branding workshop, I said photography is going to be so important. Find a photographer if you need a reference. I would love to send you my photographer. She's amazing. But she takes photos with Christmas. If you look right here, I had at least one that had kind of Christmassy stuff, but doesn't scream Christmas. I start taking Christmas type photos and using them about this time. So I have it to pitch so the editors can visualize my products with maybe a little fir tree or something in the background, something that just hints a little bit about Christmas. but now is the time to start planning for holiday. So digital press, and these are examples of some digital press I've gotten recently. Digital press is great because digital press drives traffic to your website. It's great for SEO. It's great for backlinks. One pitch with a follow-up landed me 2 holiday gift guides in the same publication this past winter. So I was in 2 different Reader's Digest gift guides from one pitch. This looks like my updated pitch right now. And for those of you who sign up to receive the information after this presentation, I'm going to include a copy of what my pitch typically looks like, and you can kind of mold and form it similar to my format. And we're going to dissect this format down a little bit farther too. But I even started using words in bold of what my name is, what I do, my link right away. I saw your recent request for, this happened to be for stocking stuffers under $20 to feature in Reader's Digest. I pointed out important things that might be eye-catching or noteworthy for them, because now crayon makers are a dime a dozen. Yes, I was the first person to do this. Yes, I've won awards for this. Yes, I've created for big companies, but they don't necessarily know that. So I'm an Etsy Design Award finalist. I was the first to create and sell a handmade crayon. Those are 2 very important things that I talk about all the time because that's what differentiates me from the other makers out there. Your readers will enjoy our eye-catching bright colors, our high-quality crayons. What are some aspects to your product or your service that makes you unique, and why are readers going to like it? Sorry, I keep navigating this different. Okay. I talk about what it costs. They ship for free. Links to our most popular sets are below. I did include 4 images here. You can easily turn this into like 1 image. I include links to each product. Although I have my own .com, I pitch using Etsy links. And the reason is Etsy has an affiliate program. It's called AWIN, A-W-I-N. And a lot of bloggers, a lot of press, and I even have an AWIN account for when I share other Etsy shops and links and products that are not mine in the shop and on my social media channels, because I get a kickback from Etsy. Those who sign up for AWIN's affiliate program, these writers, when they put gift guides together and they include the Etsy links, the writers get a kickback if any sales are made from clicking the link in that article. So if you see a call for products, like writer X, Y, and Z is looking for products for Father's Day that are for the nerdy father, give me nerdy type products for Father's Day. If you're pitching and they say that they want affiliate links only, Etsy, Amazon, Walmart, they want those type of links and not just so-and-so's.com, because Amazon and Etsy and Walmart, those are going to pay that editor a small percentage every time that link is clicked and somebody purchases because of that article. And because of this, a lot of articles that I was included in 2020 and 2021, a lot of editors and writers will just update the article, put a new date on it, maybe a new title, but the same items are in there. So I get my items clicked on from years ago, even though it was written so long ago. They're still clicking. I'm still getting sales from articles written in 2019 and 2020. So make sure that you are using your Etsy link, or if you have an affiliate program, if you have your own .com, I know there's several of you in here that have your own .coms in addition to Etsy, and you really want to drive your traffic to your .com, you can sign up for an affiliate program that I think it's like a membership. I've never done it before, but a lot of my friends have. It's like a membership-based type program where you pay per month, but it gives the bloggers, the influencers, the editors that opportunity to make money, not necessarily you paying them, but a company is kind of a go-between to give them credit for any sales that you get because of their post, if that makes sense. So, and at the very bottom of this, I talk about, I can express mail any samples needed for quick turnaround. High quality images can be found on this Google Drive link. Thank you for your time and consideration. All the things. I do include my website there as well, just in case. And sometimes there are bloggers and press that will put your .com. They get it. They get that you're an artist. They get that they want you to drive your own traffic and not get money taken out from selling on Etsy or Target or Amazon. So it just depends, but I give them all the links that they need. You want to also have these on hand and ready. You want high quality images in a Google Drive. People trust Google links. Easy access for those who need additional photos and info are on the ready without additional wait times or additional emails going back and forth of, can you send me this? Here it is. Oh, but can you send me this? Have a Google Drive with the images that best represent your products, a mixture of lifestyle and white backgrounds. White background, an editor can take that immediately and pull that product from there and put it in a gift guide or put it in a magazine without having to worry about all the extra fluff in the background. So a mix of lifestyle images and product images with that white background or a solid color background that's easily editable, that they can pull just your image from. Deadlines come up really quick, so be the reliable and consistent contact for writers. I have so many writers that come back to me because I can have such a quick turnaround for samples or quick turnaround for the images they need. They just know that I pump out things consistently and reliably. So whatever you do, be consistent, be speedy, and be reliable. You also want to have an about page. I have an about page on mypersonal.com. It's a separate page. It's not my generic about the artist. It is a page kind of hidden in the background of my website that is specific for press. It has different images of myself. It talks about my story. It gives links to my most popular products. It gives all the magazines I've been in and video links as well. But have this about page on your site and link to your social media profiles. You can use a link tree or link in bio. One of the most common mistakes I see from business owners, both small and big, are not having your full name on your website. I go to so many websites and I cannot figure out who the artist is, who the maker is. Who am I supposed to contact? Please, please, please have your first and last name on your site. Even if you're a bigger company, but you're the founder, have the founder's name there. People buy from people. People want to support that story of the individual. Even if you've grown to this big company, you don't want to get mistaken for being a mass-produced item in China or somewhere where it's being mass-produced when it's really your hand, your idea, your work behind it. So have your name on your website or on your Etsy shop. People buy from people. Even if you're not a big company, people want to see and get to know the name behind the company, what they stand for, something personal about them to connect to them on a more human level. And don't forget your value proposition, your why. Why should the member of the press be interested in your story? Why are you special than all the other hundreds of pitches that they see daily? And then conclude with a thank you, a recap of your call to action. If you have a product, include it in a Google Drive. Have a bio, have a headshot, all that information stuck there in that Google Drive. Give them as much information as they could possibly want in that Google Drive and make you the easy choice for them. You don't want all that in the email. You want it short and sweet in the email, but you want to make sure that that contact information is there too. If I cannot stress anything else more important is this. The magic is in the follow-up. You have to follow up. You have to follow up because this is when the majority of the pitches actually get read. From experience, the majority of my pitches are seen at least after one follow-up is sent. I typically follow up 2 times on a pitch, leaving about a week in between pitches unless the pitch is time sensitive. I only pitch on Tuesday through Thursday. Unless it's specific, like please pitch me by the end of the day, Monday. I only pitch on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. By Friday, nobody really wants a million email. Like it's old news. Nobody wants a million emails to search through on a Friday. They're done for the weekend. Monday, there's so many people screaming in their inbox about X, Y, and Z. So I typically pitch Tuesday through Thursday. Do I write it at Monday at midnight sometimes? Yeah, I get that out of the way. But Tuesday through Thursday, it has the highest chance of your pitches actually being read. I typically start off with, hi, I hope you're well. I'm floating this to the top of your inbox in the hopes that fill in the blank. Or I wanted to follow up to see if you received my previous email in regards to blah, 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 blah. Your follow-up should be brief, and I usually follow up by actually replying to the email that I previously sent. So that message is also in the thread. So if they happen to see the follow-up, but they didn't see the first image or the first email, they can easily scroll down and see the conversation that happened before. And that way I also keep the message brief and I provide an additional image. I usually only put one image in my follow-up. They can scroll down, they can see the original stuff. They have all the important information in that email that way. The link is still easy to find from the first email if they didn't open it. And maybe they opened this email and they found it interesting enough to look back at the original email I'm referring to. Follow up, follow up, follow up. I probably follow up 3 times if I'm really interested. And then at that point, I pitch a different angle. Or I give them some different things I can talk about or different ideas for gift guides. Well, if it's now it's past the time of this and now summer birthdays are coming up. Graduation's already passed. I didn't hear back. It's pretty much, graduation season's pretty much over to pitch. So I'm going to move on to summer birthdays. So you can also follow up after, say, if the second or third follow-up didn't work, follow up after a couple more weeks with a whole fresh different topic. Keep at it, keep in their inbox. It's going to make a difference. So with the follow-up, you're either going to get a yes, tell me more, a no thanks, we'll keep you in mind in the future, or a no thanks, like a more polite version of that, but sometimes it gets filed away for the future, or no response at all. Usually it's no response at all. Writers and professionals are incredibly busy with an inbox of hundreds, if not thousands of pitches from a 24-hour period. It's pretty common that they've missed your first pitch email, so sending a follow-up will bump your message back to the top of their inbox, and it also provides another way for your email to come up in an inbox subject line search. On the other hand, they might not be interested in your particular content or product or information at the moment too, and that happens. Remember that a no is not a no forever, it's just a not right now. Find another angle and work out another story idea to pitch in the future. If you don't get any replies to your pitches or messages, or just assess where the process went wrong. Did you select the correct media outlet and person of interest? Did you provide value regarding a popular or timely topic? Did you make it easier for the recipient to get the information? Did you copy and paste versus an attachment, making recipients click on a link that they were unsure of? I personally embed the photos in my emails. I don't make them open up specific links. I also use a commonly known link and trusted, such as Google Drive, like I talked about previously. So pitching also works for social media beyond connecting with members of the press and interacting with them. Many times I pitch like-minded brands for collaboration opportunities, designers for co-branded product ideas, and influencers who fit my niche. And when I say influencers, I've never paid for an influencer. I really take the time to build relationships with specific people that I've done my research about. And I've gotten to know them and chat with them back and forth, that they become all about me and my products, and they love it and they want to share it. I want this to feel as organic as possible when others are sharing my work. Think outside of the box when using social media to pitch. If you're struggling to get good photographs of your product in use, collaborate with a party planner. Hoping to cross over audiences with another brand that you love, co-brand a product or run a giveaway with them. Think about how you could benefit the other brand, person, company, etc. How do you provide value to them? This is the thinking around what led me to work with other brands such as Sephora and Microsoft and the Ellen Show and the Oprah Winfrey Network behind the scenes. These are all things I do on top of my shop, and a lot of it I don't even talk about necessarily, but it's thinking outside of the box and figuring out how I can fit into their world, and kind of that, what can I do for you over and over and over, and then eventually do the big ask. So use social media to collaborate with like-minded brands, interact with influencers, These are people I've talked to. So this is Beverly Mitchell. I am a child of the 80s and 90s. I grew up watching Seventh Heaven. Love Beverly Mitchell. I knew that she typically pays attention to her Instagram. She's the one that does the posts. And I actually formed a really awesome relationship with her about 5 or 6 years ago. I do her party favors for her kids' birthdays. They usually land in People magazine. Sometimes it's photos that she's taken of them, like this one. Sometimes it's a photographer comes and takes photos. Marla Sokoloff, love her from Full House. I work with her behind the scenes. And if you ever watch Step by Step, Christine Lincoln, she's in Step by Step, and I got to know her doing favors for her kids' birthday parties organically, and I sent her this name set for Baylor when her next child was born. She organically put it in the nursery as a tour, Christine's beautiful nursery in People magazine, and that organically got me a shout out and a link. What's great about this is it's clickable links on people.com, clickable links that people can go to. It lives in Google land forever. It's great SEO to lead them back to your site, and clickable links get sales more so than actual print publication. So yay, I got press. What do I do now? This is my favorite part too. So you share, and then you share some more, and you wait a few weeks, and then you share it again. Wait another month, you share the same stuff that you shared before, because it takes people 7 to 10 times of seeing or hearing something to even make a click, typically let alone a purchase, if that's your end goal. You want to share your press and turn that into content that you can work with on social media platforms. The nice thing is that once you put in a little work with screenshots or some Canva editing or some video around it, it's easy to share in multiple formats on multiple platforms. You can turn your press into an image. You can turn it into a reel. You can use it in your newsletter. So how can I turn my press into usable content? My favorite ways are blog posts. After my most important bits of press, I make sure to write a blog post about it. I put it on my main.com. I use an image or video or quotes that are on brand for my website, and then I link the full article from there. I write a blog post, and then when I put it on Instagram or Instagram stories with a clickable link, I'm not actually linking it to the Washington Post or Fortune. I'm linking it back to my blog post that shares a screenshot of that. From there, they can click there, but I want to drive that traffic back to my own personal website and not just have it click off into Washington Post land and get distracted by this ad or this other product. Because then I can use it and use that blog post in my email or newsletter. Instead of linking my press right to the source of the article, like people.com or the Washington Post, I use an image and I use a brief, did you see us on? And then I use a discount code to celebrate. Hey, we were featured in People magazine. Take 20% off today to celebrate. But I link it to my own personal website. I want to keep my traffic with me for as long as possible. And also I want the data that comes with it. I feel like this is lagging a little bit, so I'm watching versus. If you have a second in the comments, let me know that this is still going. I think if anything, it's freezing and it continues, but I think we're okay. I always struggle to come up with content for my email subscribers other than that, buy this, buy that. Here's my next sale. So share. Okay, thank you. Still good. Awesome. Thanks, Kirk. I always struggle to come up with that content, but sharing notable press gives my supporters that extra layer of brand confidence and that buyer trust that they're looking for. I like to wrap it with a bow and include a coupon code. And I'd like to use it in an Instagram reel. Anytime I physically have a magazine or news article in my hands, I create a reel or a video around it showing me holding up my feature. I also have created reels specifically showing off all the press I've received over the years. Yes, when you do it over and over, it could seem like bragging. Brag about it. Talk about it. This is what gets people to trust and catch their eye. Oh, you were in People magazine? Ooh, what else do you create? Why don't I know about this person? It creates interest. Share, 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 and share again. There are so many video ideas and transitions that you can use for showing like your product and then transitioning to the actual press you received. And then you can take those videos or that work that you put on Instagram and turn it into like a TikTok video. Repurpose your reels that you're using on Instagram or TikTok. I am by no means an expert here at consistently posting on TikTok since Instagram is my thing. And that's been my kind of consistent effort. But repurposing them on other forms of social media, video is king right now, and it's not going away. I mean, even Instagram, if you've seen a drop in your Instagram posts, they really want you to be using reels and video constantly. They want you to be using reels like you're using stories. And then Pinterest. You want to make a Pinterest pin. Use Canva to create a featured in type of image and create pins and video pins and idea pins around your press, but don't link it directly to the press. Link it back to your site. Even if you don't have a .com, link it back to your product. Link it to your Instagram, wherever you want that traffic to flow, but don't have it go away from your stuff. Make sure it's coming kind of back internally to you when you're linking this. So these are images that I usually will take a screenshot of the publication that's online, so you can see who wrote it, you can see the title, and then I take the screenshot of the actual product, and if they've quoted it down here. Same for here. This one was in Fortune a few months back, and then I screenshot it. I went down to this part and included that. And then like the Drew Barrymore show. This is an Instagram post I had. My work was on Drew Barrymore's show, and it was Christmas, so I made sure I had like little Christmas decorations and stuff, and I just froze the TV and snapped a photo and used it in an Instagram post. And then if you go to my Instagram, I'll even show like the picture of the product and have a bar that says like Forbes magazine or Washington Post. I reuse this content in multiple ways, multiple times. I was in Martha Stewart last year for Easter online. You better bet I used it this year, as seen in Martha Stewart, or Martha Stewart's best Easter basket gifts. It doesn't matter, it's from last year. The article is still being floated around. I was still in Martha Stewart. It's timely because of Easter. It's content. Share it. Most likely the people watching it or reading it or looking at your post didn't even see it the first time around. It takes 7 to 10 times at least of touches before somebody clicks or decides to read about it or decides to purchase from you. All right, so I did have a few, for those that signed up, I had a section that you could actually submit questions before the presentation, and I usually do this before each of my Etsy U's. And these are some submitted questions that people had, and so I'm going to go over these a little bit because it is helpful in figuring out what to pitch during certain months. So Katie, I don't know if you're in here or not, but Katie asked, I heard someone referring to an editorial calendar. What is that? So an editorial calendar is used by magazine staff, the editors, advertisers, marketing staff to plan publications to plan the publication and their content in the magazine ahead of time. Editorial calendars are usually planned the year before, and they're aimed at the magazine's advertisers, but it gives you a good idea of what they're looking for or what they're going to talk about that month and when that issue closes for new information. Editorial calendars are great for planning ahead of time. You can search the upcoming issues on pretty much any magazine. All of their editorial calendars are online and public knowledge. You can search for topics that are relevant to your brand. So if you're looking to pitch, hopefully in time for their beauty issue, you can actually see what month that's going to take place. And you can adjust your pitches to accommodate for the topics magazines are already covering. So after this presentation today, if you're like, I want to pitch, but I don't know where to go to start seeing what people want, so how can I just start pitching what I'm best at or what I create? Editorial calendars are great to see what's coming up. You want to make it easy for them to want to include you and show them that you've done your research. Just remember to pitch for print magazines. It's about 6 to 7 months in advance. And as a reminder, many magazines are already preparing their holiday gift guides right now, and it's not even June yet. I took this snippet. I took 2 screenshots. So here's one from HGTV, and it's kind of hard to read, but it talks about what each issue is or the colors for the issue. Here's one from parents.com, and like I said before, yes, unfortunately, this publication has folded. It's no longer having a print issue. It's only online, and online is going to look a little different. They still might reflect some of these topics in what's coming out online, but this is technically no longer valid, but I still use it because it's a great idea to show you what these magazines actually put out there for common knowledge. So I just grabbed a quick screenshot. It says Parents Magazine in June was going to do Family Pride plus Summer Fun. We're celebrating all families in our first ever Pride issue. They're also going to be talking about books that relate to that, crafts that relate to that, activities and more, plus sun safety. Do you have something, sort of product or something that has to do with sun or sun safety or being out for summer? That might be good for you to pitch. It says the ad closes and then on sale. So if the ad closes on 3/15/22, that's when they have finished up, they've wrapped up this issue, advertisers can no longer advertise. You find the issue close date, and that's used for advertisers, and your due date for pitching is about 30 days before that close date, preferably even longer so you have time to send follow-ups. So if I wanted to get into June, I would have had to been working around January, February to be pitching for the June topics. That is how far in advance print magazines work. Here's August. They're talking about the family food issue and summer reading specials. So does that have to do with you? How can you kind of twist and pitch your email to accommodate for the August issue? It's talking about meals, snacks, how to raise a reader, encourage a lifelong love of books. Think outside of the box of how you can indirectly relate to that if you have nothing to do with food or reading. So that's kind of an inside way to kind of reverse pitch a little bit too before editors even ask about that. Okay, so the next question I got was, what kind of things belong in a press kit? Do I actually need one? That's one thing I haven't talked about is press kits. Just like press releases, a traditional press kit doesn't really exist anymore, or in at least what we do, it's not really a thing. But there is kind of a digital press kit that you can prepare. It's kind of the things I've been telling you this whole presentation to have on hand and readily available. You don't need a press kit to get publicity. It's a great thing to have and make it easy for editors to get to know about you and your brand all in one place. I personally use my About page for the extra links, extra images, the About Me, the video clips, so I can reference it all in one spot for them. Some people love creating a Canva style one-page image, like digitally with information. That would be fine too. Whatever you choose, keep it simple and keep it easy to use. Back in the day, a press kit was literally a package of information, samples, something physical that you could send, etc. They were cumbersome and ultimately filed away or thrown away or not even looked at. They would receive, when magazines and publications were actually in the office every day, they would just receive hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of products, and it would just go in their beauty closet or this and that, and people would give out samples. It wouldn't necessarily always be used effectively, at least for the way that you would want it to be used for. Today, a digital information package is one that tells the story of your business. I use my website pages, which I have separate pages that are not acceptable or accessible from the main.com. It's kind of like hidden on my website with a separate link. You could create a digital file in Google Drive. That's a safe, trustable access that has everything in one place. But the things that you want to include are over here to the side. So an introduction, like your mission statement, your brand promise, a tagline, your main introduction, or your like elevator pitch, that one line that, what are you about? Your product or service. Explain what it is that you offer or what you do. Why does your approach benefit customers? This is where you can set yourself apart from the competition and reinforce with customer testimonials. You can also include important facts about your product or services. FAQs. So the goal in your press kit is to ultimately answer any of the questions a reporter may have before they even ask it of you. You want to find everything as accessible and right there as possible. Press releases. I personally do not focus or send out any sort of press releases. I feel personally that those days are long gone. People don't like generic press releases. They want to hear from you as the founder. There's a lot of brands that hire PR firms to do their pitching, and that's a great way to go if you can afford that. But typically it starts off at $3,000, $4,000 a month to have that done for someone that's smaller on our scale as an individual maker. This is something that you can do yourself. You don't need to hire out a PR firm or something to do that. You're going to be more successful and have a heck of an easier time getting directly to the people you want to get to than a bigger name brand that's pitching, that has somebody else pitching for them. People buy from people. Press want to support people, actual makers. Since even right before COVID, people want to get behind a story or a person or a brand that is real and authentic. And I think that's a huge benefit for us as makers and artists and product people, pitching ourselves. Include copies of other media attention you might have received about your business if it applies. I personally include things like my Etsy Design Award success, or when I've been able to be a speaker for different conferences or opportunities. And this is a great question that Christina just asked. Do you want to show other major media outlets that you've been featured anywhere in this process? I don't directly, if I'm pitching, say, Oprah Magazine, I don't necessarily want to say, oh, well, I've also been in this and this and this and this. I wouldn't do it necessarily like that. Now, all over my website and my Etsy and my Instagram, I do have that image that shows like every single as seen in type of thing that's there. It's there for them to find. I will include things like I was Etsy's featured artist back in October. They came to my studio, did a whole behind the scenes video. So I like to share things that are kind of general about me or my brand or video. I don't necessarily share with Oprah's people that I was in people.com 2 weeks ago because, and this is just my opinion, if I'm pitching and I'm saying, oh yeah, I was in People magazine a couple weeks ago for this, well, you just got the opportunity and I have 10 other people today that pitched this. I'm going to pick one of them that hasn't had an opportunity. That's kind of the way I think. I don't know if everybody else would think like that, but I typically don't include other press I've had unless it's super relevant to the topic that's pitching. Yeah, but that's a great question, and people usually kind of go back and forth. It's not going to like hurt you if it's not going to hurt, but I typically, since it needs to be so short anyway, and you only have a blip of a second to really get their attention in that initial email, have it on your about page if they click through to that, but in like an email, you don't need it. Don't forget about digital media. If you've been interviewed or on TV or been recorded at a speaking event in the past, include it. It's crucial in this day to have video samples of you speaking. Media will want to know if you can speak on camera to go with the flow or if you'll freeze up. Getting your audience to get to know you is important to your success. And this is the same of the media as well. People buy from people. Let them see who you are and the value that you provide. They will be much more likely to follow up with you. And 2 points with digital media too. So take Etsy, for example. A lot of people really want Etsy to get to know that, like, oh, how can I get in Etsy's gift guides? How can I be the people that are featured on Etsy's social media channels? Have video. They want to see that you can talk, that you have value, that you provide information. Tag them in some of your posts and say, here's a studio tour of my studio, and show off your studio and what's unique about it. If it's something that stands out, it's going to stand out to Etsy. We want to be able to see that you can speak on camera or that you would be a good face for the brand. And having videos will give you those opportunities to be discovered and found for different opportunities. That's kind of how one of the ways that I fell into starting to work along Etsy for different projects and things like that. Have video. It's so important to have that video. And now also kind of related, in DMs on Instagram, I have been connecting with other brands and people now instead of just typing messages. Doing the voice text, like, hey, so-and-so, hey, we haven't talked in a long time. Nicole Lewis here. Hey, I'd really love to X, Y, and Z. I've been using that voice feature, and I know I typically open up voice features when people send them to me because it's new. It's like, oh, I get to hear what they sound like. It's just, we're people, we're natural. It's intriguing. So that's another way to kind of catch people's attention as well. What's the tag for Etsy? So there's Etsy and then Etsy Success. From personally, if you are wanting to go the route of like, hey, I have value, I want to teach others, someone like, I want to teach others about X, Y, and Z on Etsy, I have value for other Etsy sellers, that's a whole different stream than I want Etsy to feature my products. If you want to share your story of how you're being successful on Etsy, what your studio looks like, how Etsy's changed your life, how you can help other Etsy sellers, tagging Etsy Success is probably going to be the best route. They do pay attention to it. I promise. They are looking at it. There are real people. I know the real people behind it. They are looking at these posts. Provide value. Provide high quality photos. Provide insight. I've given people suggestions. If you want to get their attention, start commenting on Etsy and Etsy Success's Instagram and Facebook profiles, but not just with a cute emoji or a heart or a star or something. I really love the way that this artist did this. Wow, this would look great in my studio of blah, 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 blah. Share value. Share value because Etsy, I know when people comment on my posts, I'm desperate for people to comment on my posts because I want to continue the conversation. Etsy does as well. There is a real person behind there responding to those. They will typically, you'll notice, usually I'm responding to Etsy social media posts. I will write a sentence or two about something, and out of all the emojis and one letter, pretty, I love that, Etsy will respond to the people that actually put a well thought out sentence and compliment together because they want the conversation to continue going. It not only helps them, it helps you, it helps the algorithm. Commenting and actually interacting with the people and that goes with relationship building. This is a part of relationship building. Commenting and interacting on people's posts. If they keep seeing your name pop up over and over and over, they're going to know that you're consistent. They're going to know that you're reliable. They're going to know that this person might be worth looking into and I could count on them to actually do X, Y, and Z. So I hope that kind of helps from a unique perspective. But tagging Etsy for products or commenting on Etsy for products, tagging Etsy Success if it applies for you as a seller, as a maker, as your lifestyle, if that makes sense. Hopefully that answers your question a little bit with that. Let's see, two more things. Big name stuff, being recognized by others in your community or niche will often be the validation needed to begin doing business with you. So the first time I got a couple of big magazines, I feel like it really helped my brand awareness, helped people trust that I wasn't just somebody making crayons in my kitchen for fun and not really taking it serious. Like it just brings you to a whole nother level when you're being recognized in your community with big accomplishments, with getting press. And like for me, I had the pleasure of being a finalist in the Etsy Design Awards. That's huge. That is a huge stamp of approval from not only Etsy, but Drew Barrymore, from other bigger publications. When I say I was a finalist, I was top 10 of all children's products out of 4.5 million shops. That gets publications and editors looking at my stuff specifically. And anything that's notable that's going to help you, you want to include. And then your contact information, your name, your address, your phone number, social media links. I don't necessarily put my address on it, but maybe you have a studio. Like our studio is built specifically for the business, but it's in our home right now. So I'm not going to put my address on the internet, but it's there if they wanted to find it, I'm sure. But make it as easy as possible for people to find you. These are two quick screenshots from a few months back of my social media posts. You can see, even with the press, my social media and brand sharing. I'm on brand. If you haven't attended my branding workshop, I'm running another one on June 8th. It's amazing. But brand, I include products. It's a mixture of quotes, press media features. Like you can see where I was referring to like Martha Stewart. She included these in their Easter article. But I have consistently, every time I get press, I have this white band and the logo here. And then you can swipe and see the actual article. I have video of myself of, oh, that's a colorful studio. Oh, do-it-yourself bottle. I want to see how she made that. I have products. I have gift guides. I have gift guides where I've tagged other makers. A way that you can pitch people too is maybe you have a collection of like-minded products or artists and that you've already put together a gift guide and you're sharing your favorites. You can pitch gift guides. You can pitch story ideas to editors. They're constantly looking for new ideas this week because the more articles they write, the more ideas they have, the more affiliate links, the more money that they can make, and the more articles that they can get out there with their name on them, if that makes sense. I have like little art. I really try to rotate between products, press, myself, and videos, but things that are timely, on brand with what I'm doing and for the season. I brand myself on social media through a mix of products, quotes, press media features, brand stories, pictures of me, studio videos and images, gift guides with like-minded brands. I use bright colors, similar fonts, and share my experiences and work through video. Even places I film or take photos in are branded, such as my colorful ball wall. My work is very visual, and I want to make sure that my Instagram is a home for, since I reach out and do a lot of relationship building with the media on Instagram, I want to make sure that my Instagram is branded for me and my brand and what I represent, and that it's easy for them to find photos and video of me as well. And it kind of like helps on a more personal level, see that I have a child and I have a family and I do this from home and here's my studio. People buy from people. People want to support people behind the brand. What is the best way to keep track of pitches and who to send to? Is there a database? Yes, there is. I typically have like an Excel sheet. I use a Mac, so I use numbers. But this is what my database, the top of my database looks like. And when you start pitching, you're going to have all these different emails and contacts and what magazine. People jump from magazine to magazine too. But you'll start having this database of these emails that you've pitched in the past and keep track. So I create an Excel sheet that has an I for the initial pitch, follow-up 1, follow-up 2. If I sent any samples or what I sent, was this a blind pitch? Blind pitch means, did I just pitch them out of the blue with my idea, or did I see an actual lead to like somebody asking for something specific? What date? The magazine or the contact or the influencer, how did I find them? The actual person's first and last name, the email, what I pitched. So if they were looking specifically for holiday gift guide items for children, that's what I put there. And then the items I sent. And then I think I have a notes section as well. But I also highlight it in green. If it was like a yes, I got a yes. There's an actual article out there. I do yellow for like in the process or a maybe. They've at least responded back to me. And a red if someone said a flat out no, or if it was a dead end or just really didn't go anywhere, it wasn't worth my time to pursue again. So I wound up highlighting the different rows that will have the information in it. But this way I can go back and use emails from years past and repitch similar topics or guides. Or if I see a name come up and I'm like, oh, you didn't work at that magazine last year. Where did you work? I can refer back to years past as well. Sometimes email formats get changed too. I know the Meredith brand email always changes and it's a total pain, but this is how I personally keep track of everything. And we have a couple questions. I have a quick question about pitching for those of us who make one-of-a-kind items that are more expensive. I don't feel comfortable sending out multiple samples. Is it expected if they ask for a sample that they will plan to feature our item? Is there a way to navigate that step of pitching? So yes, I have the I don't know how to word this, but my products, it's not expensive for me to make and ship out my products. So I can send out samples. Nowadays, I really have not been asked for samples. Big publications have not asked for samples for quite some time. They get so many samples that's the last thing they want. If they can see high quality photos, I will say 9 times out of 10, even like 9.5 times out of 10, they're not going to ask for samples. Samples are going to come from a lot of the smaller online bloggers, and I hate using the word bloggers because there are some really great publications online that look like blogs, but they have a huge following. A lot of the smaller publications, yeah, they were most likely going to ask for samples. It really just depends, but you have the control over who you're pitching and what you're pitching. If you do your research, you'll be able to tell if it's going to be worth your time and effort to send a sample or not. Just because you send a sample does not mean they're going to include it. The only time I have sent stuff in the last 2 years, honestly, is when they said, yes, we would love to include this in Rachel Ray in season gift guide. We need this for our photographer by Tuesday, January X, Y, and Z. Most of the time they will specifically say, we want to shoot our own photo of your product. Please send it. If you need to return it, please let us know the address to return it to. Bigger publications will return your stuff mostly. I always assume that they're not, but I've been asked in the past, like, we can return this to you, or sometimes they have to return it to you because their specific company will not allow them to hold products that they have not paid for. If you pitch a lot of small influencers or bloggers, they're going to want samples. And there are so many people on like Haro. If you've ever used Haro, Help a Reporter Out. I get the Haro emails, but I have never, maybe once out of 2 years of getting Haro emails, have I ever really gotten press from that's not a blogger. Like, I don't pitch anybody on Haro unless I know that it's like a Forbes or a Washington Post or BuzzFeed, things like that. I don't pitch smaller bloggers because Joe Schmo's mom next door that writes a blog about kids, and when you go to their blog, it's just product after product. Here's a product review. Here's a product review. Haro's kind of like mass chaos of people. Half of them just want a bunch of samples. And then some of them are legitimately looking for quotes from parenting experts and the healthcare facilities and stuff like that. So Haro, you have to pick and choose and pull things from. The more you do this, you're going to get a feel for what feels right for you to send and not send. If you pitch smaller blogs, smaller publications that are not like name brand, like BuzzFeed and Pop Sugar and Washington, the things that are online, they will probably ask for samples. I have just at this point stopped pitching that level just because I found it's not necessarily, their reach wasn't as far as I would want the reach to be, or they really weren't on, they were just looking for free products. Yes, they posted it, they have links, great, but I'm either really making a connection with somebody I like on Instagram I've gotten to know, and yes, I would happily send you something I make because I know you're going to have it proud on your shelf and you're going to share it with your people. And these people typically continue linking my products and sharing them even after that initial agreement or whatnot has come through. So I'm sorry I don't have a more solid answer for you. The bigger publications like Oprah, well, she can take my stuff all day. If Oprah wants to keep my products, great. But the bigger publications will typically only ask you for it if they are going to need to photograph it for their actual magazine or their cover and things like that. I think bestproducts.com, I was on like their main image on their digital publication. And yeah, okay, good. That's helpful. I'm hoping, because I didn't want to say like, yes, you really should not have to give out sample after sample after sample. If you are someone, I know I have 2 or 3 friends here on the beauty end, and your products might be more high end, they probably are going to have to try out your beauty products because they want to know that it doesn't feel greasy on their face or that they work. It really just depends on the maker, what you create. But I completely understand that if you're a maker and you spend all your time on this one thing, you're not going to want to send that out to everybody. Is it worth your time? What is, the loss of the product versus the gain of the publication? So I'm sorry that that's not a more clear answer, but they're not. 5 or 6 years ago, I was sending samples out left and right. I was trying to figure out what worked. I did all that kind of work behind the scenes ahead of time, so I can tell you what works, who responds to stuff, and who doesn't. And that's something I can talk to people on a more individualized one-on-one talk afterwards, because I do have a lot of direct contacts. I can pretty much find anybody that you need to find, because I have made it my business to get to know and find and contact as many people as possible from all different aspects. I have done less pitching of my products recently and more of, I've made $1 million on Etsy. Here's my story of how I got started, because people really want that human interest story now. So not only sharing your products for gift guides, but getting your name and links out there of pitching yourself, your story. What happened during COVID? Did you pivot? Did you do X, Y, and Z? And there are several in the email I'm sending people after this. If you've signed up for that list, remember, I do not have your email just because of you attending. I have a QR code. I think it's one of the last ones. Here we go. I have a QR code that you can either screenshot if you're watching from your phone, or you can take your phone out and screenshot this. The website's here too. It's kind of a pain in the butt website because it's very long, but that form, I'm going to be emailing out some different materials that you can use, how to reach me one-on-one. If you need a specific help contacting certain people or finding an email, that was the thing I had the most trouble with when I started, was how do I actually find these people? How do I find what they're listing? I actually belong to a site called Launch Grow Joy, and I've gotten to know the person behind it, and I actually have a special. I'm not a coach. I don't like giving out codes. I don't believe that you should be belonging to like a million coaching programs and this and that. Like, I am not that person. I am the person that waits for everybody else to try things and tells me what works so I can tell you what works. Launch Grow Joy has been the consistent I've used for the last 5 years pitching, even before pitching was a thing now. Now, if you Google it, you're going to hear there's so many people out there. I'm going to teach you how to pitch, and I'm going to do this and this and this, and they are great. There are two main people that I trust. I will eagerly give them my money each month to get the latest lists and things like that, and I know what's worth time and what's legit and what's not. But these are things that we can discuss, and I will send out some links and things for people to look at for those of you that are interested in sending your email to me after this presentation. I'm also going to include links to 2 different publications. One of them slipping my mind, but they're 2 easy how to get press for your getting press for your business. Artisanjoy.com and what was the other one? The other one. I'll email both of them out, but they're basically a form that you fill out, and it's like an interview the artist. But they are 2 well-known. Here's all the information about this artist. Here's a feature about this person, what they make. And it's a very easy press to start off getting some backlinks and some Google to start picking you up a little bit too. And those 2 sites are wonderful, and they're free, and it's very quick for them to write the article about you. And it's been a very good experience overall with those. I'm going to be emailing those things out within about 24 hours after this presentation today, along with that special link for the Launch Grow Joy, because I have a little bit of a special deal, I think, for that thing too. And I'll tell you right away how much I pay for that. I like that site because it's $120 a month, which is a lot. It's a lot for makers. It was a lot for me to start off with, but I like that there's no BS. It is, you can choose. I do it during June, July, August, and September. During holiday gift guide season, and then I stop it. You can stop at any time with one click. They stop charging your credit card. You could do it for 1 month and try it and get all the information that you need and then log off. But they also have a huge database of emails, and they update it regularly too. So that's something I can talk to people one-on-one about if you want more information there as well. What questions do you have for me? I've covered a lot, and it might seem very overwhelming of all the information I provided today, but don't let it overwhelm you. If you start with one thing right now, pick 3 people on Instagram or 3 favorite publications and start connecting with them on Instagram. Find 3 people that you're interested in reaching out to eventually, or 3 publications, and start consuming the media. Start reading what they're writing, and start complimenting their work. Send them DMs. Pick 3 and start from there. On June 7th, I am going to be, the title is actually much longer than this, but I'm going to be going more in depth. It's like piggybacking off of this presentation. We are actually going to be going in and writing pitches specific for you and your brand. We'll be doing a little bit of work while the presentation is going on. I will be, between now and then, if you want to write a pitch and have me look over it, I have a Pick My Brain one-on-one that I can work with you with. And then the June 7th, I'm actually going to go over 2 or 3 actual pitches and critique them live on here. If you are brave enough to send me your pitch to have critiqued and tweaked and reviewed, but then you'll have a great pitch to send off after that. And then the next day on June 8th is Branding 101. I am going to be teaching about branding your shop, your Etsy shop, everything you need from your banner, your listing photos, everything that you need to brand your shop and really make your shop cohesive and recognizable and such too. I do have a replay that will be available for the next 2 more days of my previous branding workshop, but this new one, while it's similar, it's going to be a little bit different because we always talk about different things, different questions come up. But if you enjoyed today's pitch, it might have been a little overwhelming of information at once, but writing a pitch is going to go more in depth of what the actual email looks like, what should be in it, what a follow-up really looks like, and stuff like that. What questions do you have for me? There's still some of you hanging around, and so I'm going to be here. I'll hang out for the next 5 to 10 minutes if there's questions that come through, and they could be specific too. And if you have any questions or if you have any feedback for me in the comments. This is my second Etsy U class. I get really, really excited to share all of the information, but sometimes it's just a massive information drop and I don't want to overwhelm anybody, but this way, this will be up for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and that way you can go back and watch the parts that you want to review and write back down notes. I do encourage you to check out this link. It was also, I think, emailed to you beforehand when I sent out a message through Etsy. That's the only way I have to contact people. After this, I don't contact through the Etsy messenger system. If you want to chat with me about anything, I will not have your email, so you will have to use this link for me to be able to send you such. You can also DM me on Instagram. If you do that, you might show up in my requests folder for a few days. I apologize because after these, I usually get a few hundred requests and different questions and things like that. But this is the best way to get connected and get the resources, materials, extra links, and some places to start with PR and pitching, especially if you're looking to pitch for the holiday season. Let's see. No questions? All right. Well, hang on here for a couple more minutes. If you have questions, go ahead and type them in. I will leave this up for a few more minutes too. That way you can copy down the website. It's really easy. I think I have it linked to in my Instagram account as well. But I do run my own Instagram. So if you're reaching out, you're actually reaching out to me. And please, 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 I talk about this a lot in branding and interacting with people's posts on Instagram. It's the same for YouTube. I just started this YouTube channel. I'm not a coach. I love just being real and talking one-on-one with people. And I've done all this research and I've done the mistakes. I've had the success. I want to pass on the best of it to you guys. And the way that I'm doing it right now is through YouTube. If you have a moment, please follow my YouTube channel. Just like algorithms and things like that, YouTube will only start showing my stuff to people once I get at least 1,000. I don't know. It's 1,000 or 10. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot of people subscribing. 1,000 followers, 1,000 subscribers, or 4,000 hours watched. So I have quite a ways to go. But if you have a moment, please subscribe to my channel. That way you'll also get updates on the next 2 Etsy U classes coming up. I have one more planned too about the effects of good photography. I have not scheduled that one yet, but June 7th is about writing a pitch, and June 8th is Branding 101. And it looks like there's no specific questions. If you think of something, you can reach out to me via email as well. You can email me at nicole@arttotheextreme.com. There's also clickable links to email in my Etsy shop and on Instagram. Pretty much everything you need is on my Instagram or on my Linktree on Instagram too. So thank you so much for attending. I really appreciate your time. We just went about an hour and a half, a little over that. So I hope you found something that was useful or at least inspires you to get started on getting press for your business. Please feel free to reach out to me if you want the workshop materials and information from this. Please make sure you fill out the email request form, and I will send that out in the next 24 hours or so. This replay will be available for the next 3 weeks.